What kind of resistance did you put up?
Well, only resistance I put up was when they hit me in the groin and I grabbed for my groin. That's the only resistance. I was trying to pull my arms back and I'm trying to hold my groin. That's the only resistance.
You responded to all their questions at first, or?
Yeah, they asked me what I was doing. I told them I work here.
One of the things that they go into detail in the report with is what they're claiming, at least. They're saying that when they searched you, that you reached for your waist. Is that true at all?
No, that's not true at all. Then when he searched me, he hit me in the groin, and then the search was over. Then after the search was over, I grabbed my groin, and the big officer said he's going for a gun, and that's when they slammed me to the.
When you say they hit you, was it just a really aggressive search where he just kind of like went up with his hand?
Aggressive.
He didn't like ball his fist up.
No.
Okay.
It was a real aggressive search.
Gotcha.
It didn't take me.
What did they charge you with?
Resisting arrest and
Part disorderly conduct.
disorderly conduct.
That's what
The charge is dismissed.
No, I got charged with that.
Or did the courts dismiss the charges?
Well, no, I had to do probation. I mean, I was.
Are you represented by counsel?
Yes, I paid $1,500 for a lawyer.
You got probation.
I got probation. I went to Mississippi to get a lawyer, thinking that he would be kind of hard on this guy because he's from Mississippi. You wouldn't know him. But I got him from Mississippi $1,500, and he come down here, and I got
Was that a deal that he made before you went to court?
What,
The probation?
No, they made that after I got to court.
Yeah.
Was there a hearing, the testimony?
It wasn't a hearing or testimony. It's just that when it was time for me to go in for my hearing, he was talking to the officer's lawyer or whatever, whoever represented the
Prosecutor.
officer. Yeah. And they came up with the probation.
How long of a probation period?
I think it was a year.
And did that affect your job at all?
Well, no, it didn't affect it, but it affected me. I mean, I've been, mentally, it affected me right now.
I'm guessing you dropped
You
out of
at your
town,
job,
yeah.
doing your job,
And I go to
you
jail.
gotta go into jail for doing your job.
Yeah, I had just got in, been driving all night. I get in and go to jail for another 12 hours. I had to stay up for another 12 hours doing intake. I've been driving for maybe 20 hours.
You got probation after deal.
I got probation.
Man, that's terrible. I don't want to realize that's terrible.
Spent
It
$1,500.
happens you go get a Mississippi.
Get you a local lawyer who knows his way around the courts now.
You brought up things. Okay. So they just stopped you. What kind of car do you have?
I was driving a BMW at that time.
What year was that?
That was in 2011.
That was 2000 what?
1.
2001. Yeah.
It was nice in this time.
I know it. That's why you're on probation.
I wasn't really expecting to go to jail. I mean, after I told him I worked there and that I was locking the gate, and he wanted me to reopen it because it was a combination lock. You have to move the digits to make it lock.
And see, they need to know, those are the things I'm talking about. They know, they're trained in those procedures. They should actually open it again.
Yeah.
And,
Work there on the line.
yeah, but to search you, okay, what, and now we talk probable cause, but that's my car, here are my keys, la 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 la. I just have real issues with it when I.
Do you know if they called in your license plate number or your VIN number to see if your BMW was stolen?
Before they took me off of jail, I guess they called their supervisor, and he came out, and he assessed the situation. And by them, beating me up and everything, they had no other choice but to take me to jail, I think. I was talking to my boss on the phone when they had me in a police car, and letting him know what was going on.
Did they ask to speak to your boss? Or?
They talked to him for one minute, and that was it. They said they were taking me to jail for disorderly conduct.
They had to find something to charge you with to justify what they were doing. But, I mean, to me, this is, again, these were two white officers, right?
Instead of asking him civil questions, they just assumed. They saw him and assumed that he had done something wrong.
Black man, 1 o'clock in the morning,
Exactly.
outside the gate, alarm goes off, you are
And I
guilty.
guess, and I guess I know what sensitive
Driving
it
a
is,
BMW.
because now he's the only way he was, but he was on the road truck
You're lucky
driver,
they
and he
didn't
had
charge
to
you
do
with,
the same thing Mr. Bolton did.
operating a stolen vehicle.
Pull his truck out,
Usually,
you don't have to lock the gate back. So I
usually those
understand.
cases, they
No,
drop
he's
it. Not that.
I know, I mean, that's a separate issue, they got a lawyer from Mississippi, doesn't know who the prosecutor is, doesn't know who the judge is. I'm surprised he actually found where 201 Poplar was.
You know,
The thing that kind of tipped the scale for me, if there was anything that needed to be tipped, was that they found no weapon. Okay, they didn't even do a throwdown of a weapon, and they usually do that.
A weapon.
I would say I would have set your case for a preliminary hearing. You didn't have a preliminary hearing, did you? Yeah, I would have set
You
it
don't,
for one.
$1,500, he's not going to get it.
You're not gonna get all that.
So,
that's very unfortunate.
I mean, I'd move right at this point that we sustained Mr. Bolden's complaint that the police overreacted, used I forget what the charge, excessive and unnecessary force. They had no probable cause. In my opinion, these guys did not, I've been through the FBI academy, and these guys did not follow protocol, normal procedures. Before they even arrest somebody, they call in, verify who you are, whether that car is stolen or not, whether you really work for them, whether you are who you are, and at that point they say, have a good evening, Mr. Bolton. Drive carefully going home. You're tired.
We got that training from Danny on Blue Bloods.
I don't know if they got any training.
Can't do that anymore. Just that kind of police is just not acceptable.
Well, I'll tell you, I go a little further. The recommendation that I think we should recommend to Director Rollins is that these guys go back and learn about arrests, investigation, protocols and policies. And it doesn't hurt to get a little sensitivity training too.
They was too busy trying to shield folks from their camera of taking picture of them the way I was looking and the way I was being done in my front yard. Yeah, I was going with them. I didn't have no, I just couldn't walk. They had to drag me down because I didn't have no picture.
So at what point did they pick you up and throw you, which caused the injury to your leg?
Well, I was standing right there by, as he was going to come up the driveway, so by me having on flip-flop, I was trying to get to my mom's porch, and he met me there, and then he reached for his handcuff dropped, and then he said, she resisting arrest, y'all come and get her. And boom, it happened so fast. I was telling my friend, get your camera ready, get your phone ready, get your phone ready. I'm not doing anything, I'm standing here. But when they came, they didn't try to just put my hand up. They all grabbed me by my leg. I had short pants on. So they all picked me up like this, and they threw me down like that.
But Miss Taylor was talking, she was hollering across the yard at me. And when they was coming up the street, it was like, is she talking to us? But she wasn't talking to them. She was just talking, hollering over there at me. So they ended up coming on up in her yard, and they was trying to tell her to be quiet, shut up. And she was like, I wasn't talking to y'all. And then there was a guy in my yard that came and they made him get on his knees, put his hands behind his head. And he was like, I'm gonna abide by all whatever y'all tell me to do. After then, the next thing we turned around, they was like, had her up in the air and just dropped it. Her knee hit. When we heard her holler, her knee was split open. After then, they ended up taking her away.
So she did nothing really to,
No, sir, she did not. No, she did not.
Do you recall what she hollered at you?
She was asking me, did I go, she was like, where your son is? She was asking me what my son was. And she was like, go check the next street. And I was like, all right, I'm finna go and see, because there was some commotion going on the next street. And I didn't know if he had got caught up around there or what. But when, he wasn't even around there. He was coming down the street walking. When he came up in the yard, they was asking him who he was and all that. And they let him on up in the driveway.
Ms. Robinson Ms. Taylor didn't yell any obscenity or anything at the
No.
police or anything else?
No, she wasn't even talking to them. No, she did not.
How many police officers were there
Oh.
down the street?
15 or more,
And how many came up into her yard?
maybe 10 of them.
Were they white or African American?
Both.
I think, police have a little thicker skin, even if somebody's in their own private yard or they're protesting and they're yelling obscenities at police officers, as long as they're not throwing bottles or Molotov cocktails or anything else, you say, be quiet, we're going home, and I think, again, this is an issue where, the police officers have to understand what their role is. They're peace officers. They investigate, crimes, disturbances. But, to me, there's none of that at this point.
And then asking a question is not necessarily resisting. Her son-like figure next door, you pepper sprayed him. You knocked her 82, 84-year-old mother down. That's a lot that went on. So resisting is, what does resist mean? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Is that necessarily resisting?
As I've indicated, I struggle with this one because we don't have video footage to know what Ms. Taylor did that prompted the officers to move to make a physical arrest, okay? But I do agree, if you have 10 officers in the yard, it should not have taken the type of force that we know occurred here. So I'm okay with that.
Well, what we heard last week was that there were 3, one on each side, and one couldn't get
It shouldn't
near
take
him.
3 officers to put a female in handcuffs.
there are others.
But they do.
Ask yourself this, is it okay for 3 police officers to go on somebody's private property, arrest somebody, wanting to put them in handcuffs, physically pick them up, and let's say they gently placed you on the ground? They didn't, they dropped them, okay? Is that okay?
Well, no.
Even if she didn't gash her leg, she had every right to go in and complain about how they treated her.
If we have a heated situation that we're investigating, and you have somebody that's in the yard, we're making assumptions here, and we have somebody that's inciting everybody else in the neighborhood, you need to deal with that person.
You're making those assumptions.
no,
You're making
that's not
facts.
what I'm saying.
You're making facts that aren't there.
We don't really know what occurred. Don't let what I feel change anybody's mind
It
when it
will.
No,
comes
That's not what
I want to just follow up on what your
when we
what
decide
your-
to vote
your
one way or
process
the other
is.
here. No, we're good. I mean, we can go ahead and take the vote. I'm just sharing how I feel about this situation.
No, I appreciate those, but, so the quote altercation and the disturbance is a block away and it's over. It is no altercation or problem on her property. Now, if they're walking by and they think there's excessive drinking or there are young kids there who are drinking underage, then they see, a misdemeanor in their presence, they can go up and investigate. That wasn't the situation.
Situation that excessive force was used in this case, and I go to, something might have been said. Still, you're a police officer. You go to school. You learn to deal with those kinds of things rather than taking a woman, 2, 3 of you, and slamming her to the ground. He sent a letter to the director stating that not the professionalism that you would look for in Memphis police officers, and that there was abusive conduct on the part of the officers. However, we want to phase that and submit it to him. That is my suggestion.
Is it too much to ask for a letter of apology?
I mean, you could. You can just say no. I mean,
I think a citizen would be satisfied with
Yeah.
getting something in writing saying.
and knowing the director, he's the kind of guy who would do that. I mean, that's his spirit.